Hey everyone, Tina here. Welcome to my channel. In this video, you'll learn the steps and materials that I used to create this exact alcohol ink ornament. So safety is really big. I hope everybody's wearing their respirators and they're working in a well-ventilated area. Here I am putting on my gloves. This one is not focusing, but it's Ocean Green by Bria Reese. The other bottle that I just picked up is Jacquard Pinata, Rich Gold. Of course, give it a good shake to get that ball bearing moving. It helps to mix up the ink. This is isopropyl alcohol. I use 99%. Sometimes I use 91%. The higher percentages are much better. So you just drip a little bit of the ink on and squirt some ISO on there. That's the isopropyl alcohol. Then you take a blowing tool and just kind of blow it around. You want to layer. Once you get some ink on there, it's going to start sticking a lot better. Right now it's just kind of dripping everywhere. So blow it around and cover up the bulb as best as you can. I'm using a camera lens cleaning bulb. I don't recommend doing a lot of these in the same day with that camera lens cleaning bulb, as your hand will be quite sore for days after. So as you can see, what I'm holding is a styrofoam cup. These were given to me. I did not purchase them. I'm sure you could probably get them maybe from Amazon or something. I know they're not the most environmentally friendly. I'm not quite sure what is with alcohol ink anyway. If anybody has any better ideas, I've seen people use straws and stuff them in the bottoms of the ornaments. Some people use dowels. I just found that this worked quite well to hold the bulb and keep it up a little bit from touching the cup. Do be careful though. I did manage to break a bulb and luckily not cut myself on the glass when I was putting a bulb in. This one here is Amethyst by Ranger. That's Tim Holtz brand. So I'm just working with more of a contrasting color here. Try to choose colors that go well together. A lot of people use complementary colors, and people use a color wheel to find out the best palette. I usually just put some drops on my paper towel and see what looks nice together. Many of my fellow alcohol inkers already know that many of the colors will have other undertones, such as pitch black will have a pink or a blue undertone. Espresso can have a blue undertone as well. So the best way to do it is to see some swatches of the inks that you have. If you can get those swatches together ahead of time, that's probably the best way to do it. So I'm still layering away. You can see the amethyst and the ocean green are blending together a little bit and creating a blue. You really don't need a ton of colors. If you add too many colors, you'll probably end up with a brown. unless you want brown. I tend to limit my color palette to about 1 to maybe 3 or 4 colors. And then, of course, I'll add the mixative in there because those are always really pretty and they give it a finished look. Basically, all you do is drop the ink on and then add the ISO on there and blow it around. I found that the amethyst wasn't deep enough for me, so I added Pinata's Passion Purple. The great thing about this color is the coverage that you get with the Pinata inks. Something to keep in mind if you want to layer really quickly. Now watch the coverage here. It's pretty amazing. Do keep in mind that it will take over. Feel free to skip through some parts. I know a lot of it is repetitive as I'm pretty much layering. I got a lot of the color into where I wanted it, so now it's time to add that gold. See the contrast with that? It's awesome. Of course, the ISO will remove ink as well. Just keep blowing it around and it'll turn out pretty cool. I also keep turning the ornament sideways because I want that revolving look to it. You can tilt it different ways so you can have it more dripping downwards from the top of the ornament. The technique of dropping the ink and then adding the ISO on top of it and pushing the ink around with your blowing tool is basically what I do with Yupo paper as well. It's just a little bit different because it's a sphere and obviously the ink is going to go in many directions depending on gravity and where you're blowing it. Also, because it's a camera lens cleaning bulb, you're going to get a cool air coming out of it rather than a hot air or a warm air, which gives you a little bit more working time with the inks before it settles. If you like the rings, that's where you'll use something warm, such as a heat gun or an embossing tool, something that's going to set the ink a lot quicker. I'm just filling in some spaces here and trying to make sure some of the other colors are still showing through. I'm also watching for any stray drips. And see where it's really dark? There's lots of ink there, so you can add some more ISO and blow that around. A little bit of ink tends to go a long way. As you can see, that Pinata Passion Purple really did take over. So I'm going to go in with some more gold and some more ocean green to try to get some of the other colors back in there. See, that green just disappears. You have to add a lot. Or a little bit at a time anyway. Just kind of layer it in there. Dry any loose drips before you move on. You just want to take a quick look and make sure everything's a little bit set. That way you don't have any stray drips. Just some more green and gold. That ISO will just push everything right around. I tried the Tim Holtz stamper. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but you can see it at the top left of my tray that I'm working on. Um, I wasn't a huge fan of using that for the ornaments. Some people might like it, but personally, I preferred to blow the ink around. But it is another option for you to try. It does work for sure. I'll also point out that the bulb that I'm working on, I painted the inside of the clear glass with Amsterdam acrylic ink, the white one. It coated excellent, whereas the Liquitex brand acrylic ink, you can see on the bottom right of my tray, the white went kind of interesting. It's almost a snow globe effect that it did, so it is pretty different, and it can be nice for sure. I also tried the copper Liquitex acrylic ink, and it's pretty cool as well. However, I found that the Liquitex didn't coat as well. Eventually, within about a day, a lot of it dripped off in spots inside of the bulb. So it made it a little bit blotchy inside, but I mean, alcohol ink is pretty blotchy sometimes anyway, right? So I ended up using it as is. And yeah, you could still see the copper in some spots, and in other spots it was somewhat transparent. So I mean, it was a different effect anyway. The trick is to definitely be quick. Otherwise, it might drip where you don't want it to go. This one is just about done. I'll post some pictures at the end so you can see the finished product. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.